This time on Distant Shores, we have the perfect weather to sail across the Bay of Biscay, in a 3-day passage, finishing with a dolphin greeting as we arrive at La Coruña, Spain. Here, we enter the area where there have been orca interactions, and we interview a couple whose boat was attacked until their steering system was disabled. We're Paul and Cheryl Shard, hosts of the Distant Shores Sailing Adventure TV series. We've been sailing and living aboard for 36 years, documenting the sailing lifestyle. Join us as we begin the next chapter of global voyaging aboard our variable draft Sail Orion 49.
Previously on Distant Shores, we completed warranty work on our Sail Orion 49 sailboat in the Netherlands, then sailed to the UK, where we rode out an autumn storm in Dover and explored historic Dover Castle. We then continued along the south coast, making a stop to see friends in Chichester Harbour, and completed our voyage at Falmouth in the West Country. Now, here in Falmouth, we are preparing for a voyage south, waiting for a weather window to cross the English Channel and the Bay of Biscay to Spain.
And while we're here, we catch up with cruising friends Nick and Caroline Gill, who you've met in previous videos, and have just taken delivery of a new boat. We also have a fun visit with my Cornish cousins to celebrate a special birthday. And we celebrate Cheryl and my 40th wedding anniversary.
Smile, we're on our way. It's 40th anniversary.
40 beautiful years.
From Falmouth, we will cross the English Channel overnight and continue south to cross the Bay of Biscay in what looks likely to be ideal sailing winds from the stern quarter to make landfall in Spain at A Coruña.
The winds do come out as forecast, blowing at 16 to 25 knots, making for a speedy broad reach for the whole passage in just over 2.5 days.
Crossing the border at sea from France to Spain.
Well, we're just approaching La Coruña after 3 days at sea. We've made it south. We slowed down just as we're approaching the coast, and we're going to get here in the dark, and I didn't want to try to go into the port, close with the port just yet. We've got about 10 miles to go until the edge of the port and into the marina at La Coruña. And we've got some targets and fishing boats around here and another yacht passing us by. It's been quite a breezy passage with a nice offshore wind in the bay, so it's been a little lumpy but pretty predictable. It was 20 to 25 for a day and a half, and then down to 16, 17, 18 to 20. And it's been nice sailing. We sailed the whole way. We just got a couple hours. It is just about 6 o'clock. The sun will be coming up in another hour and a half, and we can pull into the marina. We've been using the radar a fair bit to try to determine vessels that are nearby that don't have AIS. And it can be a bit of a trick when you see AIS showing up all the time. Every radar target seems to have an AIS on it as well, but you can't rely on that. So there are definitely smaller fishing boats and definitely smaller yachts in the 10, 12 meter size that don't have an AIS transponder. So, you can't just always depend on there being AIS. As great as it is, it's not a guarantee that everyone's got it. All the ships have it, that's for sure, but the small yachts sometimes not.
The wind has really dropped, and after sunrise we're becalmed, and we get a friendly welcome from dolphins. We never tire of watching them. We are actually quite relieved to see that the fins in the water around the boat belong to dolphins, not orcas, also called killer whales, which are much bigger but are also cetaceans. Over the last few years, there have been many accounts of orcas playing around small recreational boats like ours along this coast, causing damage to rudders and in some cases causing the boats to sink. So since leaving Falmouth, any movement by marine life around the boat makes our hearts pound. After sailing offshore for a few days, doing 4-hour watches around the clock, it's nice to get into port. We're looking forward to getting a full night's sleep tonight, now that the boat is securely tied to a dock, where we discover we've gained a few passengers.
So this is a Velella, which is a by-the-wind sailor. And this is the little sail that blows in the wind. And then the blue part hangs down in the water with the little tentacles that can grab stuff, and it sails around the Atlantic. And a couple of these poor little guys wound up on the deck last night.
Well, honey, it's been 4 days since our wedding anniversary, and we got a weather window, so we had to take it. It was a beautiful crossing of the Bay of Biscay.
Time for bubbly.
Time for bubbly. And I've been promised 1 week of anniversary celebration since I had to be at sea for our 40th.
So cheers to everybody and to my love.
Yeah.
All those beautiful years of sailing with you, honey.
And to many more. During the autumn months, there is a migration of cruising sailors heading south along the Iberian coast in search of warmer climes, aboard boats of all varieties and sizes. We meet up with many of them here, learn about their boats and plans for their upcoming voyages.
Hey, everybody's in the picture all at once. Normally, sailors get together and discuss boats and share a drink or coffee. But here, one topic that always came up was, what about the orcas?
Yeah. Perfect. Changes in gas because as a redundancy, so if something happens with the electrical system, we still want to have gas, and it was already in the boat.
Right.
So we just changed the stovetop, and Bert made an induction stovetop next to it, so we can have a choice which one we prefer.
But 99% of the time we use the induction. Yeah, I think we've got a bit of overcapacity of lithium now, but it's still we never worry about.
You can never have
even
too much
now we are in the marina for 2 weeks now, nearly 2 weeks, and we didn't plug in yet. That's really amazing.
Spanish
also because of the sun cells, of course. Yeah. And you baked a lot of beautiful
Dutch apple pie.
Dutch apple pie. So let's have Dutch apple pie.
My name is Hestia van Stijn-Connevels. I'm from the Netherlands, and this is our boat, a trimaran New 43, and her name is Hydra.
I'm Bert van den Broek. We're on the Hydra, but our former boat was called The Shift. It's our English name, The Shift. It was a 1980 Perry design, 44 foot. In the previous years, we had completely renovated the boat. We were going to go off and sailing.
Yeah.
So we ended up in A Coruña, and we were anchoring just outside the bay, and then there was 2 weeks quite bad weather, so we waited out the weather, and then we were starting at the maps, because at that time there was not much information about the Orcas. The only thing what they had was a kind of traffic light system, that said, okay, it's a green light, you can go now because they didn't see any orcas, or there is an orange light when they had some sightings, and there is a red light when there were some attacks. But
What year was this?
2022, September.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly 3 years ago.
And we looked it up and it was all green. So we left the Coruña, shiny day, perfect day, like this day. There was another boat, a German guy, and suddenly we saw the sails coming down. And after that we heard on the radio, I'm attacked by orcas. And that's where the story begins.
Yeah, so we looked at each other like, oh no, it's happening. Because at that time, the orcas were already for 2 years in this area. So the risk was, everybody was aware of the risks. So we looked at each other like, oh, this is our turn. So we had kind of a plan. And there were also sort of advice what you should do in case of an orca attack. Back then, the advice was lower your sails, switch off all your equipment, and reverse. Full throttle reverse.
No reverse. You have to stand still.
Oh,
Keep that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Play that. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
play that.
So we sort of discussed between the two of us before we left. So what you do this, you do that. This is our plan. And we saw, well, we heard on the radio the attack. We saw the boat moving weirdly, and then we saw the black fins coming towards us. And so we quickly lowered the sails, left on the engine, and it was very hard to feel if the boat was still maneuverable. After like 10 minutes or so, they came back, and we had another row of bumps. So that happened about 2 or 3 times. In total, we had like 10 hits. So and at some point, the wheel was stuck, so I couldn't move it anymore, and it was we could only go like to starboard.
The rudder was stuck 30 degrees.
Yeah, so there was no way we could maneuver the boat anymore. We didn't take any water, luckily, which I'll come back later. But we didn't take any water. We checked out, but we couldn't maneuver. We couldn't, go anywhere. And at that point, the Coast Guard said, "Well, we'll send you some towing or help," or it was like the RNLI, like the Spanish variant of that. So after, I think, half an hour, called the insurance, of course, like, "Can I take a line?" "Yes, you can." And they told us through the radio, "We're going to tow you to Malpica." And Malpica is a small village, like 20 miles away. And because there were 3 of us at that moment, we were all drifting and waiting. And they said, "We're going to tow you to Malpica." We were the biggest boat, so they took up the first 2 other boats, brought them to Malpica, and we asked, like, "Can we go back to La Coruña? Because we have damage and we need to repair." No, Malpica is fine, and you can go there, no problem. And there's loads of repairs facilities, and we were just like, oh no. And then at some point, they towed us, and during the tow, we heard on the radio on channel 16 another Dutch boat, which was traveling the other way. It came from
Coruña.
It came from Finisterre towards Saba. Yeah, east.
Going east.
Yeah. And the woman on the radio, she said, "We are attacked by orcas and we're taking on water. So we need help, and we need help now." So, and we were towed at that moment, and they just, they let us loose and say, "Sorry, guys, we have to save someone else's boat first. Are you okay?" "Yes, we're okay." And we were just drifting with orcas around, couldn't maneuver the boat, waiting to get some more help. But that boat was really taking on water, and the woman's really panicking because their steering system, the shaft was like when boats. That's the reason why the boats sink. It's just there's water coming in, it's going into the boat sinks. That was happening with them, and they couldn't keep up with the pumps. So they had to they tow that boat back to A Coruña. They came back
with
and
a
they
lot
towed
of
us,
extra pumps on board.
Yeah, and they towed us to Malpica. And what they do when they tow you, just like, "Okay, here's towing. Okay, there's the wall.
Whoppa.
Goodbye. Can we have 1,400 euros, please?" And then we were lying with 2 other boats looking at each other like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
We're in this fishing village. There was a crane, but the crane was not working. It wasn't even a marina with pontoons. It was like a wall with lots of moorings with small fishing mooring balls, fishing vessels. That's it. And we were just like, okay, what do we do now? We have to assess the damage. And luckily, the director of this marina, Marina Coruña, I think he had a big network here, and he heard about these attacks, and he stepped in his car and he drove to Malpica, and he said, well, how can I help you? And well, first we didn't know what the damage was. We only knew what we couldn't move the wheel, we couldn't move the rudder, but we didn't know if the rudder was still there. So even though it was a skeg rudder, so it's quite sturdy, but still you don't know. So we first had to assess the damage, got in the water, go inside and see what the situation was. And it appeared that well, maybe it's you to explain, but the quadrant steering was pushed beyond its border. So it was like stuck here. And Bert managed to sort of free it a little bit so we could move it a little bit. And the guy from the marina said, well, we cannot tow you back to Coruña. You have to get there by yourself. So can you figure out a way to get back? Yeah. And the other 2 boats, they had different kinds of damage. One had the rudder was completely gone, so he had to make an emergency rudder with his spinnaker pole and the classic example, of an emergency rudder. And the other boat, the steering cables were broken, so he could steer with his emergency tiller. Oh. So that was good, and we could steer a little bit with our hydrophane.
I could manage during the night to unscrew the quadrant and a lot of things, and to get the rudder fixed in a central position.
So it's more manageable.
Yeah. So then we had a hydrophane, and we could use the hydrophane to steer the boat. So that was the plan. And so slowly we went back.
So the next day we left early, and we, like, with 2 knots, very close to shore with the 3 boats, sort of like wounded ducks crawling back to La Coruña. And meanwhile, the Coast Guard was monitoring our position. They were very kind to say, you can go there and be careful, and sort of guiding us through the process. And then immediately we could go to the marina over there. Next day, because we didn't make any water, but we could be lifted out next day. And the whole yard, there were like 10 boats, all with broken steering or rudder failure or Orca. Mm-hmm.
It's damage. Amazing. There was a 60-foot Swan with two rudders, a new boat with a delivery skipper on it. And actually he had an advantage because he had foam rudders. And they were just broke off, and that's it. So they came, they glued new pieces of foam on it, ready. Within a week, he was back in the water. Yeah. But there were other boats who had, you've got your rudder X, I don't know how you call it in English, but of 18 millimeter, and they were just bent 90 degrees. So the rudder was, I can show you pictures.
Yeah, we can show you pictures, yeah.
And even if you have a full keel with a rudder on it, it was totally gone. We had a lot of rudders in skeg, so really totally gone, no problem with that. And we were actually lucky. We only had a little dent in the rudder, but outside there was nothing broken. We were really lucky. But the internal mechanism was totally mixed up. Yeah, it must be. Yeah. The forces are enormous because, as Hestia told, that boat was about 17 tons. But it felt like we were just lifted up and put in the water back again, different times. They were amazing.
Yeah,
they were amazing. Strong. And later on, we heard those animals are 5,000 to 7,000 kilos each. I mean, that they can do it. It's amazing. Yeah, but we were quite lucky. But we saw 10, 12 boats on their yard. Yeah, it's amazing.
Nice to meet you too.
It's
I
Mark.
had to come and visit the OG.
Oh.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Pleasure.
Cheryl and Paul.
Cheryl and
isn't it?
Paul, yeah.
How's everything going?
Just finished.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
Hello.
Wow.
This is Huub.
Yes, I am Huub from YouTube channel Huub Vlogs, visiting Mark, and then met you guys here, which I was not expecting at all, which is great.
And what's your channel, Mark?
Wildling sailing.
Wildling Sailing.
He's got the
Got
cool
the
channel.
nice, the cool warm catamaran.
Yeah, it's cool, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
You haven't sunk so far. You're still working on it.
Exactly. Yeah. Managed to get
You
here.
are in Spain.
I
That's
know.
wonderful.
Got here
Well,
from
our
Amsterdam.
friends on Hydra next door are followers of yours.
Oh,
So
really?
they were very excited to see your boat here.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, they're Dutch. Yeah.
Okay.
But we just came down from the Netherlands too.
Oh, really?
The boat was up in Makkum, which is north of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So we just left there like about 2 weeks ago.
Really? You left there 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and you got here from there.
Yeah.
Wow, you put me to shame. It took me.
Dover, Chichester, Falmouth, and then
Wow, that's
Just did a good
really
job.
good going.
Oh, I'm sad to be leaving A Coruña. She's a very sweet place. I could imagine staying the winter there is a nice spot. It's affordable, there's friendly people, and the old town is beautiful, so full of life. But we are heading out today. We are heading south. So we got to go up north to get out of the bay here, and then it's down to the south and west.
But that's next time, as we continue south down the Atlantic coast of Spain and Portugal, employing tactics to avoid orca encounters.
So I think there's been 5 or 6 boats sunk now, and many, many more attacked.
We're able to pull into tranquil havens along the way, and arrive in Cascais near Lisbon in time for 2 diverse competitions. Finally, we head offshore to the Canary Islands, safely out of orca territory. So hit subscribe and receive notifications so you don't miss the next exciting episode of Distant Shores.